Loving Sairams to everyone. So nice to see all of you again after a break. Uh, for today's satsang, what I thought we would do is review an alternative to Instagram and TikTok. Okay, and this is a mala. It's called a rosary in English, Japamala. Oftentimes, it can be made of different material. This is one that's made of sunstone. Was physically blessed by Swami back in the days, and this is what I use. But you can use any material depending on your requirements, right? From tulsi to rudra to various crystals and so forth. Um, these malas come in different types, so you have different lengths. You have a Japamala, which is usually 108 beads, right? So that is used for counting, and you have other lengths depending on your requirement. Has anyone ever shown you how to use a mala? You just sort of picked it up and assumed that was correct. It's the easiest thing to do, and there's no right or wrong way. But I thought I would share some tips that have helped me in my practice. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let's just hear from you. How do you use a mala? Usha, if you can please share. How do you use a mala for chanting? Okay. So there's one way. Yes. Yeah. So there's one way like this, right? Can you just hold your hand up so that everyone can see? So she's holding it like this, right? With the, sorry. Yes. Yeah, so you can do it like this, and then you can move it along this way. And that's one way of doing it, right? Now, obviously, you won't be holding it high up like this, but you'll be doing this. And this is a very effective way because you can keep the mala in your lap. And then as you're counting, then your thumb will just move the mala down so that you count on one bead after you finish. That's fine. That's totally fine. That's the most common way, I think, that most people do. I just tend to hold it in my palm or in my lap, and then I just count from one bead to the next. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll just hold two beads together. There's no, unlike in regular meditation where you might have different mudras for different purposes depending on what you're trying to do. For holding a mala, for counting for Japamala, there's no specific mudra that you need to hold. It's more about the intention, and it's more about the chanting, okay? So holding the mala is the easiest thing in the world. How do you chant though? That's the hard part. How do you chant? So Lalit, how do you chant?
You chant with whatever your mantra you're chanting, you have to visualize it in your mind, and if possible, have bhava also.
So have devotion.
Have devotion
Yes.
towards it. And if you are able to uh, visualize oneness with that deity or form, and then chant. That
Okay.
is the best.
Good. So I'm glad you said that last part. Visualize oneness with whatever deity or form that you are chanting to. Thank you. So the most common way is we chant, like let's just say we chant Om Sri Sai Ram, right? Good. Very good. Very powerful. Um, and you can imagine maybe that Swami is standing before you and you can chant. That's great. You can also imagine that if your mind drifts off, that Swami will also wander away too. So you keep him with you just through the power of your chanting, right? And then you do it, as Lalit said, with devotion, because that is very powerful. That's what gives the strength or the oomph to the mantra, right? That's what gives it power. The words of the mantra are themselves very powerful. But when we chant with devotion, it gives more power. When we chant with one pointedness, it gives even more power. Have you ever had the experience that you're chanting and then your mind goes off after some time to something else? Yeah? To laundry or to ordering food for groceries or whatever it is. Yeah? Happens to all of us. What do you do then when that happens? Just gently bring the mind back. Just gently bring it back, like a young child that doesn't know any better. Just gently bring it back. That's all, and then continue the chanting. Don't try to make a disturbance like that. Just gently bring it back. Okay. Where do you chant? Where do you chant? Like in a particular room, in a particular place? Where do you chant? In a particular place. Like what kind of place? In your puja room, that's fine. Where else? Whenever you find time. Yeah, whenever you find time. So instead of, see, what happens to many of us is we get distracted. And the real reason for these distractions, we want to blame our cell phone and social media and all those things. And maybe they're true to some extent. But if you go deeper, 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 the real reason for these distractions is that there's some internal discomfort, right? Something inside of us is not feeling right. Usually it's a little bit of anxiety, maybe some fear, maybe some boredom sometimes, but something inside of us is not right. And so we're looking for something else and we get distracted. And then what do? We pick up our phone, most commonly in today's world, right? Instead, turn to your mala in those times. Okay, turn to your mala. Now, if you have a mala that you are wearing around your neck, you don't have to physically take it off at that time and then start chanting. You can simply just chant on the tips of your fingers, right? Like you would see our elders do. So I still do this. I don't know if that makes me an elder, but I still chant like this many times. So it's very effective. And this is what I do when I'm in a car, not when I'm driving, but when I'm in a car, when I'm in a plane, when I'm waiting for a flight, in the metro. This is, I get, actually, when I'm traveling, I do way more sadhana than I do on regular days, just because of this chanting. So wherever you are and whenever you find time, are there any other times that you can chant? That you can chant on your mala? Are there any times of the day that you can chant? So Brahma Muhurtam, yes. And what else? Yes. Why do certain communities do Sandhya Vandanam? Does anyone know? Why do we chant Gayatri at that time? What happens when we chant Gayatri at sunrise and sunset? What does it do to our karmas?
The daily karmas that you accumulate, we are getting rid of
It
them.
washes them away, yes. So chanting Gayatri Mantra, Swami has said this in a discourse. When we chant Gayatri Mantra at 3 times, at dawn, at noon, and at dusk, it washes away the karmas from the previous hours, whether they were intentional karmas like, puchu, like that, or whether there's something that you did by accident, unknowingly, it will wash away those karmas. Now, I honestly, the noon chanting, I never get. I don't get it because I just forget because it's too busy in the workday. But the dawn and dusk Gayatri mantras are generally can stick to that. So try this. You can do the Gayatri mantra at particular times. Are there any other mantras that you can chant that are like really good? Om Namah Shivaya is there. Okay. Anything else? Soham is good. That's very good. Yes. You can chant. See, there's so many mantras you can chant depending on your requirement. Depending on your requirement. Sometimes you just want to calm the mind. Sometimes you want to focus on God in devotion. Sometimes you want to have a more contemplative experience, like when you want to chant Soham, for example. I am that, I am God. So you can choose the mantra based on this. Now, should you stick to one mantra in general, or can you change it around? What do you think? Better to stick to one mantra. I generally have only 2 mantras. I chant either my personal practice, and please don't do this just because I'm doing it, but I'm just giving you an example, is I chant either Gayatri mantra or I chant Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya to cleanse the mind. Those are the 2 that I chant. And then in the morning, when I'm walking, I do my regular chanting as I'm walking. So this is my practice. Maybe you have something different, and there may be other mantras that are meaningful to you that you chant. But stick to the same mantras. Don't change it because today is Monday and I should pray to this God, and today is Tuesday and I should pray to this God, and today is Wednesday, I should pray to this God. For God, there is no time, okay? It doesn't work that way for God. There is no time. So you chant whatever you want, but you stick to that so that the power increases over time. Have you noticed that when you're chanting, um, you develop a certain energy in your body? Have you felt that before? Yeah, that's when you know that the chanting is effective. That's one way. How else do you know that the chanting is effective? What are the other things?
Chant unconsciously.
You chant unconsciously,
Becomes
sure.
part of your
Becomes part of you,
part
yes.
of your gaps. Now, predominantly we are having phones, right?
Yes,
So instead of phones, we have that mantra. It means you are connecting to that mantra very actively,
yes.
and you might get benefits soon. Means more than what usually you might experience that mantra more.
So you know that you're chanting well when the chanting becomes continuous, even when you don't intend to do it. So the other day, for example, I was cycling, and even while cycling, the Gayatri mantra was still going through me. It just comes continuously. So it becomes continuous, a part of you. What else will tell you that? So one is you feel this lovely energy. Second is it becomes continuous. What else will help you know that
Change
it's
in the
continuous?
consciousness.
You change in your awareness. You can go into ananda, go into bliss. Yes, you experience that bliss because, to say the name of God, it's not so easy. So once Swami was on the veranda and he was in a jolly mood, and he said, to be able to say Sai Ram, to be able to say the name of God, one must have lived at least 100,000 births. So all the older men who were there, very senior, very serious, sincere devotees were there, were like, Sai Ram Swami, we're so lucky, they were thinking like that. And then what Swami does is he starts to inflate the ego like a bicycle pump with the tire. He starts to inflate, so he starts to go along with this, and he plays along with this game. And some of them are thinking internally, I must be such an old soul. I say Sairam all the time like this, So this is how Swami plays. Then he said, but to want to know the Brahma Vidya, one must have lived at least 1 million births. To want to know the Brahma Vidya, the truth, the knowledge of the self, one must have lived at least 1 million births. So, but the foundation is chanting the name of God. Should you chant out loud? Should you whisper? Or should you say it mentally?
Depends on the time and place.
Depends on the time and place, meaning?
If I'm in a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer to do it.
Yeah, if you're in a crowd, then chant, silently, or maybe just whisper it out, right? Um, if you are like, if I'm trekking, for example, and it's a slow pace, I would chant out loud. But if I'm huffing and puffing, if I'm running, obviously, I'm just chanting internally, even when I'm running. If I am in a crowd, like you said, I would chant internally. If I'm at an airport, I would just chant internally. But if I'm in a metro where there's a lot of noise, I might whisper it out. But otherwise, which is better from a spiritual perspective? Which will give you the most bang for your buck?
What I usually do is I start chanting loudly,
Mm-hmm.
and then after a couple of minutes, I don't know how it transitions. It becomes silent, and it becomes a internal
Yes,
chanting.
this is a very good point. So as you're chanting and as you go deeper and deeper into the chant, it will become silent on its own. Okay, you will become silent on its own, and you'll just become softer, softer, softer until it becomes internal. But what Swami says is that when you say it out loud, it has so much effect. When you whisper it, it has more effect. And when you do it internally in the mind, it has the most effect. So chanting mentally has the greatest effect. How fast should you chant? What speed should you be chanting? Should you say Om Bhurbhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya, or should you chant Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam? What speed should you chant?
Slower is better.
Why?
If you can hear the syllables, that's enough. That's my personal.
You hearing the syllables is one thing. Swami has to hear the syllables. That's more important, no?
That means if I can hear, that's like a basic test.
Yes.
At least I should be able to hear. Then God might hear.
Yes, exactly. So God does not care about quantity, okay? It's quality that He wants. I mean, you've heard Swami say, no, one spoonful of cow's milk is better than one barrel full of donkey's milk. So don't worry about how many malas you do, okay? Don't say, I will do 2 malas, 5 malas, 4 malas. You're not going to the gym and trying to lift more weight. It's not like that. Swami cares about quality. So, focus on quality repetitions where your mind is straight on that each syllable, and each word should be chanted with devotion, whether it's out loud, whether it's whispered, whether it's mentally, it doesn't matter, but where each word is chanted with devotion. Yeah, that's the key. And what you'll find is you'll find yourself full of joy. Yeah, you find yourself full of peace when you're chanting. This is the cure for what ails us, especially in this Kali Yuga. I think if more people chanted, we wouldn't have so many problems in the world like we do right now. Okay. So, questions on chanting? I have some questions. Wait, I didn't finish my questions. So, where do you keep your mala when you're done with it? Do you stick it in your pocket? Do you put it back on? What do you do with your mala? Do you keep it on the dining table? What happens?
After chanting, I
Usually wear it, okay. And do you wash this? Like you take a shower every day, no? So do you, or bath every day? Do you wash this also? How do you take care of this? How often should you wash your mala? Shivani?
Yeah, you should wash every day.
You should wash it at least a couple of
But when
times
you
a
leave it in
week.
a certain day, you should wash it that day and leave it rest for it.
So you go outside, knowingly or unknowingly, you pick up other people's energies, right? And so the same thing happens to your mala as well, right? It also picks up those energies that you have been around, right? And it's changing your energy as well. It's changing your aura, but it's you need to clean it. Just rinse it in water. Okay. Now here's something a little bit different that you can do. What I do is I have a mala like this that I wear. Okay. And the reason I don't use this one for chanting unless I'm traveling is because this will get affected by whatever energies are around me, maybe if I'm stressed, whatever it may be. So my chanting mala is actually a separate mala that I keep in a box, or maybe you keep it in a bag, and that's used only for chanting. I don't wear that mala, that white mala that I have upstairs. Yeah. So and when I pick up that mala, I even hold it if in my meditation. I don't, if I finish my chanting and I just go into meditation, the power from that chanting stays with me for a long time, just as I'm in the meditation. Yeah. Do you see the difference? So you can wear a mala. I find it very, very useful. Um, but if you're going to chant on a mala, what I suggest is you have a mala just for chanting, okay? And keep it just for chanting. Now, should you let other people handle your malas? No, it's just for you. Should you handle other people's malas? No. Don't get freaked out if somebody picks up your mala. It's okay. But in general, keep your malas for yourself, right? It's meant for you. Yes. Keep it washed. Don't keep it on the dining table and public places, like that. Keep it in your puja or your altar so that it's kept just for you. All right. So now you're all experts in chanting. Yes. You understand how to use a mala. You understand how to reduce your time on Instagram by chanting. Reduce your boredom. And when you find yourself getting agitated, nervous, worried, then pick up your mala and start to chant instead. Obviously, take action, whatever is needed, think through it. I'm not saying, deny what you have to face, but use the chanting with the mala to strengthen yourself. Okay. Any questions on this? You guys are cool? Chill? Okay. Go practice, come back, self realized.